Hey guys and gals, what is going on? Jonny Middleton and
Travis Ward.
And welcome to episode 9 of
Alternative Week.
Yeah, can't believe only one more week to go after this, guys and gals. And as I keep saying, it's been a hell of a journey thus far. And I'm talking way too fast, I can't get my words out as per usual.
Indeed.
But yeah, dude, as we were saying, it's sort of like a band that's like a combination of things so far, you know. It's a mixture of like heaviness and also a lot of melody in there too.
You've got some sort of heavy metal guitars with some soft vocals, you've got some grunge elements, you've got some alternate rock elements.
It's
you've got
great,
a bit of everything with this band.
Yeah, with this band, you know, they really do, you know, epitomise the...
favourite band.
I hope it's going to be no bias string this maestro.
We
did bias string around. We just
Yeah.
love alternative rock so damn
And I
much.
just love this band so much.
It's not a bad thing.
No,
yeah.
the band we shall be covering today
And they are the epitome of alternative in both my eyes and Travito's.
is the
Reveal all,
almighty Smashing Pumpkins.
And yeah, these guys, do you know what year these guys were?
They formed in 1988.
1988, the same year as obviously first releases from the bands like Soundgarden and L7 released
Indeed.
too. Those being the Ultra Mega OK from Soundgarden and L7 from L7.
Indeed.
And you know, with the Smashing Pumpkins, guys, I was saying like it's like a combination of like everything we've looked at so far. And as we're saying, obviously the Travito's favourite band. And yeah, well, they used to be like Radiohead because I know you were saying from like 1988, there's like a gap between their formation and their first releases.
Yeah, well, there is some early materials from some videos online which shows some early Smashing Pumpkins songs, such as one track called "She."
Yeah, which with this band, you tell me like it's like 80s like punk influence once again.
It's sort of a bit of punk. There's more of the psychedelics that were first seen with Smashing Pumpkins, which Billy Corgan came back to Chicago and he met James Eheim. They formed the Smashing Pumpkins. They
it's pretty
had
damn
a lot
sweet.
of psychedelic influence.
Psychedelic slag.
Psychedelic influence with music, because it was just those two and a drum machine, and then Billy Corgan and Darcy Vretsky were watching his performance and started arguing about bands. He found out she played bass, and then along with a drum track she was added to the band. Then they started getting noticed after playing a few shows.
Not too bad, my friend.
The proprietor was just saying, "Yeah, we'll sign you if you get rid of a drum track."
Yeah, it's just a thing like you know, Smashing Pumpkins like featuring female bassists
and using drum tracks.
Yeah, especially in the early days of a drum track.
And then that returned later on in our period. But
it's sort of out of our period.
Yeah, well, it's sort of linked in, but
it's been like Radiohead. You know, it certainly marks like a different transition, like musically, I suppose.
So suggested to them was Jimmy Chamberlain, this jazz drum with a lot of jazz roots, and he'd never really heard of alternative rock or had any playing, but went after a couple of jams and
sorry, they go on.
You're laughing at me. After a couple of jams, they pretty much created this new hard rock sound that I've seen on Gish and Siamese Dreams.
Yeah, and Gish was their debut studio album, guys, which was initially released on Caroline Records. Now you're telling me there's something like LinkedIn with this dude?
Virgin Records.
Was like Caroline Records. Caroline Records, a subsidiary.
Yes, subsidiary of Virgin Records.
No, so was it still part of that Virgin Records, like sort of being like a major label?
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Just not as major as Virgin Records.
Yeah, it's like, you know, as I was posting on like Twitter like the other day, guys, you know, these guys are fast becoming my favourite band too. Probably due back to Civ Arts influence here. But yeah, it's just like the debut album for the Pumpkins Gish album. I'll get up again, makes a change, like, you know, it's sort of showcase like the purple.
That's the 2011 reissue, so it's a lot brighter.
Hence why it's not black on the side.
See, the back on Siamese Dream 2011 reissue is similar to that as well. See, it's got like a darker purple than the original album.
Purple is my favourite colour, man.
Cool.
By a mile. You know, the disc itself is orange, so, you know,
yeah,
very grungy.
It's like the front cover of the Siamese Dream reissue, because Smashing Pumpkins, since 2011, have been one of these bands remastering the albums, but through Bob Ludwig, I think, and Billy Corgan. So it's not just some guys remastering. Billy Corgan's at the forefront of all of this.
So basically, like, the reissues have sounded the way Billy's wants them to.
Yeah, so there's been Gish, Siamese Dream, and Melancholy, the albums we'll be looking at today, which have been reissued this year.
Yeah, and I'd say also like the Pumpkins like definitive moments, like the albums that really like looked on back by fans, reviewed by critics.
This year is Adore's reissue, and I guess maybe next year there might be a Machina, seeing as they've got possibly 2 new albums coming out next year.
An album that's released on the internet by this guy called Machina
2.
Machina 2, is it something to do with the gods?
Yeah. It's just, that's really good, I think. It's better than Machina.
I've never heard it, man, so, you know, that's not out of our range, so. Yeah, and the album Gish shows up the track I Am One, which, you know, it's sort of like introduces, like, The epitome of...
Just to point out, I Am The One was also released on a collaborative album with loads of other songs from that record label and was released in 1990.
So like, so this song was like recorded like 1 year prior to the sound being released then, dude. Wow. So anyway, so you know, and when you can tell at the opener, it's like it's something different to, you know, anything that's come before.
It's more of the hard rock Smashing Pumpkins. I mean, it's
heavily alt
rock, sorry, yeah, alt influence. But I mean, this album is a variation of the heavy guitar riffs and more psychedelic, but.
Especially I feel the first 6 tracks of them.
In the first couple of tracks, you've got the more hard rock. That's wanted to just say there's a bit of a dispersive tonalities and
you know,
uses of music.
Because I feel like, you know, once the end of track 6 stuff's come, I feel like the album's a bit all the same-ish. But you know, the first, well, each to their own, I suppose. Yeah, like I Am One, you know, it sort of, you know, sums up like a Smashing Pumpkins sound, you know, with Billy Corgan's vocals and there's like alt rock guitars. We were saying.
See, I mean, Billy Corgan isn't the greatest vocalist ever, but Smashing Pumpkins wouldn't be Smashing Pumpkins without his vocals.
Yeah, and you can see why it's like lumped in that grunge sound, because it's how content with that guitar sound. It's like it's distorted in a way that's sort of similar to.
Well, even more so when you get to Melancholy, but like early on using different tones, and then his voice, it's sort of like singing but also going into like a screech, I guess, which you see a lot more later on, but I guess that's like a grunge, like Kurt Cobain style singing.
Absolutely, my friend. And you know, like when all these like alternative rock bands release their debut albums, you know, it's all they had this like youthful innocence band. Like that's why
more of a band for the kids.
Yes, like a more teenage epic rock band, as we were talking about a certain track earlier on. You know, like this album has like, it reminds me of Tenny in many ways. Has that like innocent like vibe about it. It's like free.
Yeah, from that same era.
You just imagine like a load of dudes just like chilled out like on a mountain or something, listening to this music. Oh, I maybe quoting the Seaver video for this or something.
I don't know.
Or Rhinoceros or something.
Rhinoceros is like that cool.
Rhinoceros is the first epic song this album, dude.
Oh, I like Seaver.
Yeah, I was about like length, you know. Rhinoceros is a hell of a lot longer than Seaver.
6.5 minutes, because it's got that strange like half bit at the end, which isn't on Rotten Apples.
Yeah, and I think it's like with most alternative rock bands, they have a hard side and they have like a very mellow side, which is first shown on the song Rhinoceros.
Yeah, you've still got these like lovely little power chords played while Billy's singing, and then it really kicks in the chorus and bridge.
I love like the end like chorus where he keeps singing "She Knows," you know, it's really beautiful. We made a joke out of this, but you know that's just stupid.
Sure enough.
She wears chinos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like Seaver, the second track, continues the same vein as I Am One, you know, just to like showcase every single like element on this album, you know, it's continues the same vein, like, you know, melodic alternative rock sound.
I agree.
And was that the first single they released from Gish, Seaver?
Yeah, because I Am One had already been released. So
prior, so.
Yeah.
It's not like logical, like, well, the first 2 tracks, I Am One and Seaver being like, you know, released in time. You know, as I was saying, like, you know, the third track, Rhinoceros, you know, it's really the element of like, you know, all the Pumpkins, what they can do, like, when they like switch it up a little bit, I suppose.
And also, this album was recorded with Butch Vig, the almighty Butch Vig, with
being an iconic producer.
$40,000 budget, I think.
Amazing, getting $40,000. I mean, the sound production on this dude is awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of in Smashing Pumpkins albums. There's definite concentration of tonalities on guitar, especially seen later on in Siamese Dream. But
Butch Vig says that touch. I mean, as I was saying about Nirvana, my review guys, like
this was something different. This was something different for Butch Vig as well, because he'd mainly worked with indie bands beforehand, and now he's working Smashing Pumpkins. And he liked that Billy, like he said, that Billy challenged him, and he challenged Billy to do the best.
And the end product was certainly something that deliver on critical.
There is a lot of critical. Yeah, it didn't chart very high, but today it's it's well respected. But it was like 150s in the Billboard 200.
Perhaps we're just starting out, if we'd have been around at this time about this album, I'm sure we'd have both loved it straight away, dude.
I guess so. But there's a lot of controversy when it comes to Smashing Pumpkins albums, because most of the guitars and bass were done by Billy Corgan in terms of recording.
It's not like Trent Reznor and Nine Inch Nails, but in like a band sense.
There were a lot of tensions around like the Gish era, because Darcy and James had a breakup as well. I think this is after Gish. And then you've got Billy writing all the music, and like tensions are high.
Yeah, but like it's been like with Red Hot Chili Peppers, One Hot Minute, but it didn't really affect the music. I mean, you get to tracks such as Bury Me, which is a completely different beast to the other preceding 3 tracks. It's more like bass and drum heavy. I was like, but it's it's more heavily distorted.
Yeah, that's what you see in a lot of Smashing Pumpkins songs, like the tracks being started by bass.
Yeah, I think it works now.
Corgan's recordings.
I'm a huge fan of when bass starts tracks. The bass is very underrated instruments. We all love the bass. Slap at the bass. Then I'll get to track 5, guys, which is called Crush. It's similar to Rhinoceros. I think I prefer Crush to Rhinoceros, to be honest with you. I don't know about you. I love Crush.
Well, to quote you, each to their own.
I think I'm a very special young lady when I hear that song. But, that's just me.
I guess that's because it's called Crush.
Yeah, it is like a love song in many ways, you know. It contains some like beautiful lyrics like "Love comes in colours I can't deny."
Oh, that's a good lyric.
What would you say it's like the overall lyrical writing on this album? Do you think Billy Corgan was a good writer?
It's a very personal album.
It used to be a thing, didn't it? Like Eddie Vedder on Pearl Jam, he was really personal in his lyrics.
People ask Billy Corgan if it's a political album. He's like, no, it's a personal. You know.
Did the Pumpkins ever write politically?
Yeah, Zeitgeist.
They're coming later. But yeah, and what I was saying yesterday, like, there's the use of snare drum on this like album
very
too.
penultimate thing from Jimmy Chamberlain, also seen in Simon's Dream, but also reinvigorated in Zeitgeist. I don't know, that sort of annoys me in Zeitgeist. It's like, what are you doing?
I have listened to Zeitgeist not as much, but I'm just saying, like, did I hear saying like the Pumpkins had a drum machine before, dude? Did they enlist Jimmy Chamberlain for this album?
Oh yeah, Jimmy Chamberlain. Yeah, Jimmy Chamberlain's in by like late 88, I think.
Sweet. So do you know if like still retain like a drum machine? You think this album like in terms of like drums would have sounded different?
Oh, it would have been awful. I mean, without Jimmy Chamberlain, you wouldn't
pre-programmed.
You wouldn't have had this. Oh no, about the early like psychedelic stuff is better. I mean, you got like Rhinoceros and stuff, but
Air Song.
You wouldn't have had the hard rock, as Billy said, without it was Jimmy which he gave us heaviness.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I like I didn't really initially like the song Seaver, but it's grown on me, Like I Am One Struck Gold, Rhinoceros, Bury Me and Crush, and then Suffer is like the epitome of this album, in my opinion. It's awesome song, track 6, Suffer. Yeah. It's because it has like it is still alternative, but it has like a different vibe to it, to add diversity to the album. Like I get like a little Tool vibe from there. It's just different to anything from the rest of the CD.
Yeah.
It's a great song, like Crush and Suffer are my two favourite songs from this album. It used to be Bury Me, but Crush just sneaked up in there too. And after Crush, I can't. So after Suffer, it's like, do we get songs like? We also get Daydream at the end, but can you remember any of the other song titles apart from?
I don't know how to pronounce it. It was released before Gish, I think.
Oh, there we go. Sorry, Snail, Tree Tester, Window Pane, and
Tree Tester. That was along with Seaver and Rhinoceros. I think they were like early works before Gish.
Yeah, but I feel like from track 7 onwards, obviously a Snail to a Daydream. I don't feel the album has anything new. I really don't like the song Daydream. I'm sorry. I think Darcy's vocals. Then I don't know.
I just like it's got that sort of psychedelic edge at the end. Just
I guess so. But
and then it's got an even weirder part from Billy Corgan afterwards.
I guess we've all got our own opinions. I just feel it's a weak way to spend the album. My favourite songs are tracks 1 to 6.
There is some criticism in this video. It's not just me.
It's good to be objective. We can't just praise how bands because I get boring after a while.
Yeah.
But Gish was certainly a very awesome way for the Pumpkins to introduce their
Billy
career.
Corgan sees it as them
from tracks 1 to 6, tracks 7 to 10 are forgettable for me, I'm sorry.
Billy Corgan sees it as like a naive young band, but I think
it's a great naive young band.
If I had to rate the albums that we're going to be looking at, I think...
So just turns to like Pumpkins do?
Yeah, just from this period, I think Siamese Dream is my favourite, Gish is my second favourite, and Melancholy.
We'll get to Siamese Dream and the Mindids and dudettes.
Yeah, I mean, after this... Well, I mean, Gish is successful. They start touring with some big names.
Did you say Guns N' Roses?
I think they might... No, I think they have toured with Nirvana, because I've seen like after tour videos of them together.
Sweet.
But I think they toured with possibly Red Hot Chili Peppers as well, but this might have been more Siamese Dream.
This sums up because, I was watching a documentary on the making of Blood Sugar Sex Magic called Funky Monks, so I saw, you were saying how bands on tour together stayed together and had some fun. Yeah. And that unity is something that's not really reflected in music today, and that's why the alt scene was so cool in the 1990s. Okay. Did you say they released they obviously didn't release Siamese Dream straight after Gish, released an album?
Oh, it was the Lull EP which came out after Gish. It's got 4 tracks.
I thought it was the Pisces Iscariot.
No, that's after Siamese. 2 tracks I think from Lull featured on Pisces Iscariot, such as the track Blue, which has got your typical pumpkin sound. I mean, because quite a lot, apparently nearly 2 albums worth of music was written for Siamese Dream. And a lot of
this is all emulated, but came most fruition on an album after that.
Most of that seen as B-sides from the tracks released from Siamese Dream and
not bad.
Featured on Pisces Skirt.
Not bad, really. Yeah, did any tracks feature on Lull EP eventually feature on Siamese Dream? I was that
No, I don't think any of those tracks. No, something of its own.
Sweet, but guys, when I first turned on Siamese Dream, when I heard the first songs, Cherub Rock and Quiet, you know, I got like, you know, the same vibe from Gish, you know, like nice
heavy
alt
guitars
rock
as
sound.
well. Yeah, I mean, as soon
I think
as
Punk is still a young band at this point, man. It's like youthful innocence.
well, let's talk about in between this. I mean, there's a lot of tension building up to Siamese Dream. You've got the breakup with James and Darcy. I think that might have already been before, but it's still tension. We've got Billy, who's entered a massive depression.
Jeez.
To a point of
Just tell me about this
suicide.
earlier.
Yeah, to a point of suicide of this period. So he stayed a lot in the studio. You know, that was what kept him.
Yeah, I guess like he's like, you know, working on like the lyrics and stuff, so like distracted his mind.
This is where Jimmy Chamberlain's drug addiction really kicks in. I mean, they moved away from Chicago to record sound to stop distractions, but Jimmy Chamberlain found some new links and stuff, and so he would go off on drug benders days on end, and so Billy dragged Jimmy into the studio and sat him down to record Cherub Rock Into His Hands Bled stuff, something like that.
That's dedication.
Billy Corgan was very serious about this album. You know, they worked on it a lot. He spent a lot of time on turnout. They went $450,000 over the like what it was supposed to be.
I think it was well worth, you know, because you know I would say like, you know, with Gish, the sound on this album production wise is fantastic. You know, that's just more expansive, but
and there's also more tensions in the band for Siamese Dream because Billy's once again doing all the guitars and bass, but just because Butch Vig said that.
But that's probably a good thing. That point, like you said, he was going through depression, distracted his mind.
He wanted to keep it consistent.
Yeah,
when they were.
You can tell the consistency.
Yeah, and a lot of tonality and work went onto the sound, which you can easily tell because a lot of the muff pedals, I guess, especially in Cherub Rock, a lot of distortion effects. The guitars getting a bit
There's a
heavier.
hell of a lot of distortion on some of these songs.
Yeah, especially Cherub Rock and
Quiet.
Just to bring back to that first point you made about them being more hard rock tracks.
And they do like have that like Gish vibe, and the song. Of course, the third track today is the big single. Was that like released before the album came out? It was like
well, before then there's Drown, which was released after Gish.
That's the song you're telling me about.
Which was from a
1992.
It was I guess so. Yeah.
Right.
It was for a movie. And it just showed something new. It had some more psychedelic soft rock track, like guitars at the beginning, but then it also had like, you know, just some heavy guitars, which was seen prior. It was a good. I mean, it could have been on Siamese Dream. It would have fitted really well on Siamese Dream.
I've not heard it though, so
I'll
go on you.
When I first saw it, I thought it was going to be on Siamese Dream because it's in between the Gish tracks and the Siamese Dream album. So
yeah, so like, would you say like it gave an indication like the sound of Siamese Dream or? Still retains that, like, you know,
it retained more Gish because it's a heavily psychedelic rock song.
Sweet, and you know, today was obviously the big thing. I thought, like, you know, when I heard Track 3 today, like, it marked a change in terms of, like, the album sound. Like, it became more expansive and more, you know, more grandiose what the songs on Gish were.
There's more growing up as well. I mean, it's still aimed towards young people. I mean, Billy Corgan changes style with every album.
Yeah, like he had long hair on Gish. He cut
now
it
it's
to
like now it's short hair with like.
It'll get even shorter in the future.
Superman sweaters or something like that. I don't know.
That's grungy. And there's a fourth track. I know there's obviously key songs on like Disarm and Geek USA and Mayonnaise.
Disarm is track 4, I think.
Is it? Yeah, because that like, you know, this like showed a different side to Pumpkins because. The song Disarm's like a really nice sing-along chorus.
It's got cello on it as well.
It's got strings, diversity.
So it's just like working on this track and adding more stuff in, going over the budget.
He's played it to me before. He can play this song.
I can play a lot,
but you'll see this at the end of the video.
On the album release day, when they played at the popular place in Chicago, Metro, where they played a lot.
I would have loved to have been there.
Yeah, the celloist is playing at that gig as well.
Did Smashing Pumpkins like enlisted celloist to play in their band full time at any point?
I don't think. Well, no, I don't think because
I had this image like this female from the band playing cello.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Cello.
They just played it without the cello afterwards. But I don't know. It was more. It was a lot different to what people I can imagine. I mean, they have soft songs, but this was like really well produced.
It is a really well produced
album.
It's a very
emotional song, I find.
Disarm, you know, it's just like the very like, you know, soother song comparison with songs on the album. You know, and like you get songs just like, you know, Geek USA is probably my favourite song. So I mean, it rocks.
Hard rock riffs, more. I say it's more of a teenage American feel good stereotype.
Yeah, like, you know, when I heard "Bury Me" on Gish, you know,
Weezer.
Oh, that's Weezer.
Weezer's first album. That's what it reminds me of.
We were initially thinking of covering Weezer in this, but we decided against it. But you know, like Geek USA, you know, it's I thought "Bury Me" from Gish was like, you know, the buzz hard rock song. Then this came on. It has a solo in it. Solos weren't very common with the Pumpkins until this point.
You know, when I said this on my been track 4, I'm not sure that could have been Rocket.
Yeah,
that's got an awesome intro riff. In one of the singles, and also features some spacey
Hummer.
Video.
Hummer.
Yeah, Hummer. See,
Hummer. Hummer's track 4.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't got
I love Hummer. Like it sounds like a different vibe to like some of the punkies. Like it's like weird, like crackling tape.
It's another feel good. I guess it's
when
like
it
an
kicks
Indian
in,
sort of.
Yeah.
Middle Eastern sort of.
Yeah, when it kicks in, it retains like the vibe from this album.
Like the use of effects like Cherub Rock.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, I still find this album, like much more. Well, I don't know, it's about the same in terms of like Gish, terms like listenable level,
It's like a
small songs on it.
More vibrant Gish, I guess.
Yeah, it's much more expansive and like developed Gish.
Some of my songs are the more softer tracks that I feature on this album, such as Space Boy, Sommer, and Mayonnaise, all long tracks as well.
Yeah, it's like with Sommer, like it started off slow, I couldn't get into it, but then when it got later on in the song, I really started to enjoy it again.
There's a good, Smashing Pumpkins, you've got Billy's vocals, but the music is what's more important in Smashing Pumpkins, because he said in Gish, it's more music than lyrics, because he wanted the music to speak for himself, because he couldn't find it in lyrics.
Well, like the lyrics more mature on Siamese Dream, because imagine Gish, like you have a youthful innocence lyrical.
I think Space Boys and Disarm are tracks with youthful innocence as well.
That Mayonnaise, I know that's your favourite song from this album.
It's just got cool riffs, that's why I like it.
Is this like the first, there's like an over 8 minute song this album?
Yeah, it's called Silverfuck, all one word.
Can you describe this song to me, my friend?
It's just one of those hard rock songs on the album.
Sweet, so obviously like a lot of elements of hard rock, obviously Mark Spencer, Ben Fish was always like
Possibly
strings on Disarm.
metal guitars, but soft vocals.
There's been a lot of metal guitars, especially on Gish and large elements of this, I was taken by surprise by Siamese Dream. I thought it wouldn't be as good as Gish, but I obviously enjoyed it more than Gish.
Personally, Siamese Dream is my second favourite album of all time.
It's ace, dude.
After Dark Side of the Moon.
It really is like an epitome point for Pumpkins, with it. Because obviously the main music video is for Seaver from Gish.
Is it a live video? I'm not sure.
I think like on this like rock thing, but yeah, as soon as like started.
Iron One's live.
Yeah, but I didn't realise I made a video for Iron One.
Yeah, I think.
Wow. I never knew that. So like when the video for today started airing, it was the big point when people started paying more attention to the Pumpkins.
It's one of my favourite music videos. I mean,
Billy Corgan's driving an ice cream van, but
people were criticising.
How rock and roll is this?
People were criticising Smashing Pumpkins along this era though, just saying they're like copying other bands.
We'll get to another band that's similar to this later on.
Yeah, or they like just got the next Nirvana or something, and people just like
depressing lyrics,
people
like guitars.
People like their music, but people didn't like their status of just like Billy Corgan doing everything and all this drugs.
Yeah, it's a bit like Control, Vice, Grip.
Yeah, people might see Billy Corgan as a massive narcissist, I guess. But
I still don't know the meaning of that word, dude. I just call him a control freak, to be honest.
It's just, I don't know, he wanted something and he got it done, I guess, at the end of the day.
Exactly, if you put your heart and mind to something, you can achieve anything.
And I just went, okay, let's move on to Pisces Iscariot.
The B-sides album after Siamese.
See, Siamese Dream came at 10th, and I think this finished higher. I don't know whereabouts, maybe about 4th or something.
That's probably because of the success of Siamese Dream and a single today, dude.
I mean, you've got tracks on this which sound like, I guess these are some of the Siamese Dream tracks, because you've got your soft tracks, like you've got Soothe and you've got Blew Away, a lot more soft tracks. Then
have you heard any because obviously like the big singles from Siamese, have you heard any like the B-sides to the singles, dude, like the B-sides to Today or Disarm or
some of these
it makes sense, like compile them like a B-sides album.
Yeah, and then you've got heavy rock tracks such as Frail and Bedazzled and Plume, and then Blue later on.
What's with all the one-word songs?
I think one of the tracks which should have been on Siamese Dream, because it suits it to the bill, is Hello Kitty Cat. It's just one of these like Siamese Dream-esque guitar songs.
That's Billy Corgan, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hello Kitty Cat.
I don't understand it. I'm not actually sure what the cover is.
It's like some sort of like distorted thing. It's very 9 Inch Nails, like downward spiral or something.
And he's got some weird...
It's on the back too. It's very like... reminds me of the film Ghost. I don't know if you've ever seen that, dude.
I've heard of it.
Yeah. There's a bit of like a somber love story thing, I think.
Oh, is that the one where they're doing that pot thing?
I'm not too sure.
And the ghost guy goes behind her.
I don't really know the storyline. I just know like on the artwork for the DVD cover for the film Ghost, it's sort of similar to that.
Yeah.
Was Pisces Iscariot released in 1993 or 1994? 94. So obviously, like, did they start writing like music for like the album after Siamese Dream on tour for Siamese Dream?
No, they took some time off. They toured. Oh no, Siamese Dream. I'm not sure. I think they just went into the studio, and then they toured the hell out of Siamese Dream.
I imagine like new material developed on the road whilst touring for Siamese Dream for their next album.
I don't know, but I don't know. I think Billy just took some time off of it. I took a good year off. They toured the hell out of Siamese Dream.
It was their big moment at the time.
It's just this good youthful album, and then so Smashing Pumpkins are retaining some popularity now, and so
oh, hell yeah.
Billy Corgan does something really risky, I guess is considered in the music business, is that he goes to create the double album Melancholy and Infinite Sadness.
Which will come to be known by many as the definitive Pumpkins moment, you know.
Yeah, the biggest selling Pumpkins album, I guess.
Look at it. Look at it!
I mean, there are some penultimate double albums.
It's got a sun on the back of it.
Some penultimate double albums such as Tommy by The Who, The Wall by
White
Pink
Album.
Floyd, and The White Album by
Physical
Beatles.
Graffiti, Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, but it's the White Album which influenced Billy Corgan to make it, and he also wanted it to be the Generation X of The Wall.
So it's not like the grunge double album, alternative rock double
It's got some
album.
beautiful artwork on this album as well. It's just this crazy mind of
Yeah, all
Billy
links back.
Corgan.
It's like this Melancholy concept album, dude. It feels
Yeah,
very much
it's
like
got
a
this concept
album.
of life and death from both discs.
There are coming CDs and more like reference to that too.
I
Maybe
guess,
back or
hopefully
something.
they don't like just ruin their old stuff.
Nah, this album is really, you know, iconic amongst many Pumpkins fans.
It's just got more. The guitars are a lot more experimental. It's like I guess it is their best album. It went to number 1 on the Billboard 200. It's the biggest selling. I'm pretty sure it's the biggest selling album, but I say it's my third favourite. That's just because I've listened to a lot of their material. But it's the most important album Smashing Pumpkins has ever released.
Probably, you know, there's like much more experimentation on this album compared to comparison to Gish and Siamese Dream.
It's just more heavier guitars as well, like Jelly Belly being in
Zero, Bullet, Butterfly Wings.
Yeah, but Jelly Belly being in Drop C Sharp. They tuned down all tracks if they're not Drop C Sharp, because I think XYU is, but during half step
not
down.
XYZ by Rush, dude, XYU.
No, XYU, which is on the second disc. And
You were saying like, oh, it's not like a night and day sort of thing.
I guess, yeah.
Did you say like the second disc sounds more like acoustic?
It's more acoustic melodic, but then it's got the penultimate track, 1979, which to date is the Smashing Pumpkins' most popular
Grand Theft
track.
Auto 4 dudes and dudettes. Grand Theft Auto 4.
Okay.
Yes. This experimentation like shown straight away with the opening song, which is actually called Melancholy and Infinite Sadness.
It's just this piano riff, which is just beautiful.
Yeah, it really sums up the title album. It's got a very sad and somber feel to it.
Well, I guess it suits the name of the album.
Yeah, they get like Tonight's Out, which is another example.
It's probably one of their best written songs.
I felt like crying when I heard Melancholy and Infinite Sadness. It has that like very somber vibe, and that's obviously not the same way as Smushy Tonight's Out. It's the Container Strings got like a nice guitar riff on it throughout.
Gish has a lot of sad songs on it.
But it's more melodic and rocking, so that's probably why it feels affected by it as much.
I'm not sure what. I think there's more sad songs on Melancholy than
Definitely.
Siamese Dream. I'm not sure how happy with Siamese Dream because it was massively depressed when he wrote them.
But I mean, it's just like the uplifting nature of the music, I suppose, like trampled out
like tracks like Zero.
Sadness of lyrics.
Zero.
Yeah,
and,
that is not a sad song.
Bullet with Butterfly Wings. More metal guitars, more use of angry vocals from Billy Corgan, especially on Bullet with Butterfly Wings, which won
especially in the middle of the sleeves of the cage.
Yeah, which won them
and then the chorus.
A Grammy in 1997 for Best Hard Rock Performance. They were nominated for 7 Grammys because of time, but only won 1. But it was a very highly competitive era for hard rock at that time. There's still some awesome bands going, such as Alice in Chains and Soundgarden.
Absolutely, you know, once you get past like the string-oriented Melancholy for Sadness, it's like like more songs like familiar to our olden days, like Jelly Belly and Zero. Here Is No Why reference.
Yeah. But,
is that more?
It's a lot softer.
Contains like more elements of
There's some
melancholy.
beautiful tracks on it. It's just Here's No Why, To Forgive and A No Day to No One. It's just especially No Day to No One. It's just an awesome song. It's like probably my favourite track from the album. It's just,
obviously like a double album's going to take more to like get through. So it's fine to be listenable.
With the Smashing Pumpkins' early days, I mean the music improved and they got a lot older, but it's still the same sort of style, hard rock, a lot of soft songs. They never got rid of one thing and then switched it with another. They just added.
I know Billy Corgan at one point said he wanted to change, but he didn't want to like leave the old band behind.
No.
So that's probably incorporate like both elements.
I think Billy Corgan, I guess, worked on more guitars as well, and that's pretty much throughout the whole Pumpkins career from the 90s. It's just, well, I guess until today as well. But it's
I'm guessing the song "Love's the Love Song."
Yeah.
It's a thing like "Crush" and "Disarm." Disarm has a vibe of a love song from Siamese Dream.
No, it's more of a like personal touch to Billy Corgan.
I'd probably disclose like bells at the beginning of it.
Yeah, well, it's got the line that I used to be a little boy. Well, it's just like more younger person.
And was Muzzle a single from this album
as well? It was, but it's not one of the highly credited ones. I think it was like the 5th single before 33. It's one of my favourite tracks, one of the more just rock tracks, I guess.
Awesome, man, awesome. And yeah, would you say like Dawn to Dusk, as this one's called, is like the harder rocking side?
It's the more popular CD, I guess. If they sold it as like, if the second disc was like a special thing, like sometimes as being bands releasing, you got a special second disc. It would be the first disc which got the commercial.
That's not bad, dude. That's not bad, and
it's just got like singles on it which did really well, like Tonight, Bullet Butterfly Wings, but then 1979 and Zero, I don't think even going to the top 40.
Yeah, I think it's really cool how like there's like elements of Pumpkin's like traditional sound at this point,
they were
but
really
mixed in
different.
with more expert. Yeah, their special Pumpkins, I'd say like different to anything as far in the series.
One of the biggest alt rock bands of that era.
I'm not surprised, the material does have a lot of depth and grandiose nature to it. Like this really cool. Like on the first, it's like got the more hard rocking material, but mixed in like new elements for experimentation, like
a lot
strings
more
and
effects on guitars as well. It's just there are a lot of different 12-year alternate bands because a lot of thought goes into music. The music doesn't stay similar.
Nah, music's always changing.
Peppers have kept that funky vibe.
Well, Smash Punk has become more diverse, much like Radiohead, although I wouldn't say to the same extreme.
Oh no! They just got more aggressive, I guess, with this album.
Yeah, the song went somber, like more like quieter, sadder moments.
It's just a beautiful album.
Mine's like a rock. It's like a rock opera in many ways, but
yeah,
a true like emotional rock opera.
It's just 2 hours plus of just awesome music, and then there was 56 tracks written for this. 28 made the album, and so after this, I'm not sure what year it was.
I thought there was 18 tracks on the first disc, folks.
but no, they released Aeroplane Flies High, which has been re-released as well.
Which I thought was part of like the Lucky 13 tracks on the Junior Soul collection. 200,000
copies or something, but it sold out really fast, so Virgin released a lot more. Album. I don't think this album was done with Butch Vig, I'm not sure. I think it was done with two guys.
Produced by Flood, Alan Moulder and Billy Corgan.
Yeah, okay.
Did Billy Corgan produce all the albums in this period of Gish, Siamese?
He's been at the forefront of producing all of his albums.
Not bad, dude. And I was just saying the second disc is more, much more softer. There's still trace because 1979 it sort of reminds me of I don't know songs.
It's a feel good youthful song. It's one of the more happier songs of Smashing Pumpkins' career.
Yeah, I don't think many fans will react to the second side as well the first side because more fans like the hard rock.
I guess that's why they closed with that track. It's just a feel good song because when they were touring their final tour, this is the track because they'd have Jimmy Chamberlain up front on guitar as well and stuff, and that's just what they'd finish with.
I know because it's there's lots of material for fans to get through. Can imagine obviously fit that rock opera vibe, quite a journey in it. About like you were saying, dude, how a lot of songs written for Siamese Dream, and they said they'll put them all on a double album in the future.
Yeah, and Airplanes Fly High is about 5 discs or something because it's got some of the singles. It's got singles and then all these other tracks.
a greatest hits / outtakes sort of album thing going on.
It's very expensive. It's like £64 on Amazon.
Really? Is it like a massive? It's like a box set.
Yeah, I don't know if it's got all the tracks on it, because it got remastered as well. So,
sweet.
And then well, I mean,
Farewell and Good Night is an appropriate song title to end the album.
Yeah, it starts off with I think it ends with a sort of soft vibe, which I think it's quite a long song. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's
been a while since I listened to the second disc.
It's just a massive rock opera of experimentation and more familiar material with fans obviously. They sound more grandiose than Siamese Dream. Not necessarily quality wise, but it says the scope of the songs and the concepts for double album.
This is just Smashing Pumpkins' peak. No other album has topped this. It's like one of the. It might have been one of the best-selling alternate rock albums of that era.
I can't think of many other alternative rock bands that did double albums at this time.
Oh, it was the biggest-selling double album of the 90s.
It was really popular. I mean, with the song you'd had Today on Siamese Dream, so you got the Tonight equivalent. Maybe the roots of Melancholy lie in Siamese Dream. Who knows? Maybe just afterwards, with Today, obviously, then Tonight.
And then afterwards, everything.
Maybe Tonight's is double album. They just calling it Tonight. Tonight's as 2 discs. Maybe that's just something wild and crazy.
I don't know. But after this, there's a lot of problems then to Smashing Pumpkins. This is up to this period that we're talking about. This is Smashing Pumpkins' peak. I mean, afterwards you've got
hard rocking guitar-driven tracks like Radiohead, except this time with scree albums.
And then afterwards you've got drug problems, which lead to the death of their young keyboardist and Jimmy Chamberlain being fired.
Was that a female, did or no?
It was a guy, and Jimmy Chamberlain got fired. And this is why Adore is not as hard rock. It's a lot softer, simpler songs. I mean, Billy Corgan's mother had died about period, so it's just a really dark album. I think it's better. In my opinion, I like it a lot more than Melancholy.
I've never heard Adore, dude, so I know song Ever Adore in it, though.
Yeah, and then there's also Perfect. But in between there's also the track
Everlasting Years?
Everlasting... No, that's on Machina. the album afterwards. And so there's more. Here's where Smashing Pumpkins went more experimental, using a lot of electronica.
I'll probably, a bit like Radiohead, some like more guitar-driven first 3 hours, opposed to more experimental material in the future.
I mean, Smashing Pumpkins, all of their albums are after this are all very different. I mean, Machine is probably the heaviest album they've ever released.
Yeah.
The Doors,
have you heard all of Machine 2 They released on the internet for free.
That was in 2000, and then you can't download them. But
hang on, dude, did they release Machine 2 in the same year as Machine 1? I was like the year after.
If they were both 2000, I think they could have.
So maybe the roots of the Tear concept lie in the Machinist series.
Oh no,
Billy Corgan's always very forward-thinking individual, it seems.
Yeah, and then they broke up in 2000 due to all these problems with lineup and everything. Darcy Rescue didn't do the last tour.
Reformed,
and then
7 years later.
They reformed in 2006, I think, or 2007.
And produced the album Zeitgeist.
Yeah, where Jimmy Chamberlain came back, and then he left in 2009, and now Smashing Pumpkins is Billy Corgan and these 3 other guys, but pretty much Smashing Pumpkins has always been Billy Corgan, so people should really
it's been the main creative driving force behind the project.
I mean, he hasn't spoken to James Iha since 2001, so...
James Iha's no longer in the band, dude.
Oh no, he left in 2001, he never wanted to come back and...
Did he feature on all these albums?
Oh yeah, he's apart from Adore, which doesn't have Jimmy Chamberlain, it's been the same band members on all of them.
Nice. And were there like the same number of members in the band during Gish, Siamese Dream and Melancholy?
Yeah, it's always been 4. It's always been 4. Even when other band members left, it's always been a 4.
And I think it's cool, despite the diversity and experimentation of Melancholy, all 4 members have managed to, stay put despite might be prevalent creative differences.
In that period.
Just in that period,
it's all just messed up.
I can see why, because the Doors a different beast from Melancholy, obviously that's how about time range.
Yeah. And
probably the States still the traditional pumpkin sound that's probably David Armstrong explored on Melancholy, but mixed in with a lot more keys, and which first shown on Siamese Dream song this album I keep mentioning.
Okay, and that's Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah, hope you all enjoyed our review of Smashing Pumpkins, guys and girls. It's been, as I was saying, the Radiohead, the Pumpkins albums in this period are my favourites, post ones in the future. Well, recently anyway. Well, with the exception of a couple, until very recently anyway. We're going back to revert back to an old sound, but Gish, Smashing Pumpkins and Melancholy, that's sort of the albums set Pumpkins up in the mainstream and grab the attention of the audience.
Yeah.
I suppose.
They were just different. They're in a world of their own, Smashing Pumpkins. I mean, I could probably say that about a few bands like Red Hot Chili Peppers and Pearl Jam, but Smashing Pumpkins...
So much diversity, alternative rock.
Let's guess,
so
like
awesome,
they keep saying, that's what makes it alternative.
It's so cool.
Yeah, that's Smashing Pumpkins, just due to variety and just the expertise in their music, that's what makes them my favourite band.
It's certainly not a bad favourite band to have, it's a nice hard rock mixture of more. So it's all I prefer the hard rock inside, but it's good because it appeals to more people, more music. You get more fans, and you get more exposure. You get more money.
And it just creates more debate about Smashing Pumpkins coming back.
And you just get more debate, saying, "Ooh, was this a good idea from good to go in that direction?"
I like anything Billy Corgan does. Well, most things.
I still song, but yeah, guys, I think that's about Smashing Pumpkins to something to a C. Something to a C. Yeah,
to a T.
Yeah, C, sun,
T.
Moon, stars, sky. Yeah, guys, I've been Jonny Middleton.
And I've been Travis Ward.
Thank you for tuning in to our Smashing Pumpkins review of Alternative Week. This has been band review number 9, and so until then, hope you all stay safe, stay strong, and we shall see y'all in the future forever. Much love, stay strong, and peace. Yo.
Yep.
Who's talking about cracking at it? Baby, that was so dang sweet, like sugar candy on treacle tarts.